Welcome back to my channel. If you're ready to transform your English skills and communicate confidently, then you're in the right place. In today's video, we're diving deep into the world of English learning. I promise you'll discover a treasure trove of tips and techniques that will help you speak, listen, and read English like a pro. Whether you're just starting out or looking to refine your skills, I have something for everyone. From practical exercises that fit seamlessly into your daily routine to unique methods that make learning enjoyable, you'll learn how to integrate English into your life naturally. We'll explore the power of hobbies, how to practice pronunciation, and even ways to immerse yourself in the culture of English-speaking countries. But that's not all. I'll also share proven strategies for building your confidence, overcoming the fear of making mistakes, and staying motivated on your language journey. So, grab a notebook, sit back, and get ready to take notes because this video is packed with insights you won't want to miss. Watch till the end, and I promise you'll walk away with the tools and inspiration to elevate your English to new heights. Imagine standing in front of a massive door, and behind it lies a world where you speak English fluently, confidently, and without hesitation. Now, here's the catch. The only key to that door is you. You already have it in your hands. You just need to unlock it. Learning English isn't about being perfect. It's about taking one step at a time, having fun with it, and realizing that fluency is just the beginning of the adventure. You've probably heard it 1,000 times. English is hard, but today we're flipping the script. English isn't hard, it's just new. And guess what? I'm here to help you make it as fun and easy as binge watching your favorite TV series. Ready to unlock that door? Let's get started. Okay, let's start by busting a myth. A lot of people think learning English is like climbing Mount Everest, impossible without years of struggle. But here's the truth. You don't need years. You just need consistency, a few tricks, and a sprinkle of laughter along the way. You know how everyone talks about sounding natural in English? Phrasal verbs are the magic wand. Let's make it fun. Imagine you're a secret agent, and the only way to complete your mission is by using phrasal verbs. Instead of saying, "I started my mission," you'll say, "I kicked off my mission." Cool, right? Here's a fun challenge. Next time you watch a movie in English, count how many phrasal verbs you hear. Trust me, it'll blow your mind. Examples. "I need to figure out this problem." "Let's wrap up this meeting." You'll start hearing these everywhere. It's like once you notice them, they're impossible to ignore. Think in English. This is where a lot of learners get stuck. They translate everything in their heads. Imagine this. You're trying to order pizza, but first you think in your language, then translate to English, and by the time you speak, the pizza guy is already gone. So, how do you fix this? Start thinking in English, even for small things. When you're brushing your teeth, say to yourself, "I'm brushing my teeth." If you're watching TV, think, "This show is so funny." The more you practice thinking in English, the faster you'll speak without translating. Make English your best friend, literally. Here's a funny idea. What if you treated English like your best friend? Think about it. You wouldn't ignore your best friend for weeks, right? You'd chat, hang out, and joke around with them. So, why not do the same with English? Have fun with it. Sing songs in English. Talk to yourself in English. Yeah, it might seem a bit weird at first, but trust me, it works. and make mistakes. Mistakes aren't embarrassing. They're stepping stones. Ever see a baby learning to walk? They fall 1,000 times but always get back up. Learning a language is no different. The power of music. Who doesn't love music? Turn your favorite songs into learning tools. When you're jamming to your favorite English song, pay attention to the lyrics. Sing along, even if you mess up. And when you sing those words, you're training your brain to remember them. Next time you listen to a song, pick out 1 or 2 phrases and use them in a conversation that day. Something as simple as, "Let it be" or "I'm on top of the world" from songs can stick with you forever. Conversation fillers. Sounding like a pro. You know those awkward silences when you're thinking of what to say next. Let's fill those gaps like a pro. Native speakers use words like, you know? Well, and I mean to give themselves a second to think. Let's practice. Imagine someone asks you, "What's your favorite food?" Instead of freezing, just say, "Well, I guess it's pizza." You sound more natural, and there's no awkward pause. Boom! You're already sounding like a native. Play with your voice. Here's where things get really fun. Intonation is the rise and fall of your voice, and it's what makes you sound excited, curious, or even sarcastic. Imagine saying, "You did what?" with a rise in your voice. Now, say it flat. "You did what?" Totally different, right? Here's a mini game. Next time you're talking, play with your voice. Say, "That's great," with a flat tone and then with excitement. That's great. Your tone can change everything. You want to become fluent fast? Start role-playing. Imagine yourself in different situations and practice speaking as if you're really there. Pretend you're at a coffee shop. "Hi, could I get a latte, please?" Or at a party. "Hey, nice to meet you. What do you do?" This might feel silly, but trust me, it works. You'll be prepared when real conversations happen. Practice ordering food, giving directions, or even explaining your hobbies. Here's the thing. Learning English can feel like running a marathon. There will be days when you feel like giving up. But guess what? That's totally normal. The key is to keep going. A cool way to stay motivated is by tracking your progress. Every day, write down 1 new word you learned or 1 phrase you practiced. After a month, look back and see how much you've improved. You'll be amazed. Tip: treat your language journey like a video game. Every time you learn a new word or master a conversation, you're leveling up. And who doesn't love leveling up? Set a timer for 5 minutes and talk about anything in English. Don't stop, even if you make mistakes. Talk about your day, your plans, what you ate for breakfast, anything. The goal is to keep speaking, and with time, you'll notice it gets easier. If you want English to become second nature, you've got to build a habit. Even if it's just 10 minutes a day, make English a part of your daily routine. Watch a short video, practice a conversation, or read a few sentences. It takes about 21 days to build a habit. So if you practice every day for just 3 weeks, speaking English will start to feel natural. There's no finish line in learning. Fluency is a journey, not a destination. So, whether you're just starting or you've been at it for years, remember, you're constantly growing. Every word you learn, every conversation you have, is a step forward. Why learning English is a must. Imagine being able to connect with people from different cultures, landing your dream job, or traveling anywhere without worrying about language barriers. English is the bridge to all of that. It's not just a language, it's the global language. Whether you're a student, professional, or someone who loves to explore, mastering English gives you an advantage that opens up the world to you. For example, imagine you're in an international airport and you need to ask for directions or talk to a stranger. English helps you communicate effortlessly. Or maybe you're attending a job interview with a multinational company. English is likely the language of business. So, mastering English isn't just helpful. It's a necessity in today's globalized world. Speaking confidently. Real conversations matter. To speak English fluently, you need to build your confidence and practice real-life conversations. Confidence comes when you stop worrying about mistakes and start focusing on expressing yourself. Let's break this down with some examples. Example: simple conversations. Start by talking about your daily activities. Say something like, "I am going to the market," or "I'm cooking dinner right now." These simple phrases get you comfortable using English in everyday scenarios. Practice descriptions. Choose an object in your house and describe it. For instance, this is a blue chair. It's soft, and I love sitting here in the evening. This practice helps you become familiar with adjectives, which are important in conversations. Conversation partners. If possible, find someone to practice English with. Even if your partner is also learning, practicing together can help both of you improve. Ask each other questions like, "What did you do today?" and answer in complete sentences. Remember, the goal is to express yourself rather than be perfect. As you practice more, you'll find that speaking English becomes more natural and fluid. The art of listening. Hear it before you say it. Listening is the foundation of learning any language. The more you listen to English, the better your brain becomes at processing it. But listening isn't just about hearing words. It's about understanding context, tone, and meaning. Listen to podcasts or YouTube videos designed for beginners. For example, you might start with a children's story. The language is simple, and the speakers tend to speak slowly and clearly. Choose movies or TV shows that you like, and watch them with English subtitles. For instance, if you're watching a cooking show, pay attention to phrases like "add the salt" or "stir the pot." Repeat those phrases aloud to practice pronunciation. Understand the lyrics. Pick out some of your favorite lines and sing along. This is a fun way to improve both listening and pronunciation. Reading for fluency. Reading helps you internalize grammar and sentence structures naturally. As you read, you see how words are used, which helps you understand their meaning and context. Begin by reading short stories or articles that interest you. If you're into sports, read a simple article about your favorite athlete. Look at how sentences are formed and pick up new vocabulary. For example, "He sprinted down the field" teaches you both a new word, sprinted, and how to describe action. When you come across a new word, don't just look it up in a dictionary. Try to understand its meaning from the context of the sentence. For example, if you read, "The man was jubilant after hearing the good news," you can guess that jubilant means something like happy. Set reading goals. Challenge yourself to read a certain number of pages or articles every day. Even if you only read for 10 minutes, You're building a powerful habit that will help improve your English in the long run. Writing for mastery. Writing helps you organize your thoughts and express yourself clearly. It also reinforces the grammar and vocabulary you've learned. Writing doesn't have to be formal or perfect. It's all about expressing yourself. Journaling. Keep a daily journal where you write about your day. For instance, you could write, "Today, I went to the park. The weather was sunny, and I felt happy walking under the trees." This simple practice will help improve both your vocabulary and sentence structure. Write emails or messages. Practice writing informal emails to a friend or even drafting messages in English. Focus on clarity, using complete sentences and avoiding translation. Instead of thinking in your native language, write directly in English. Writing challenges. Set a writing challenge for yourself. For example, try to write a short story, a letter to your future self, or even a blog post about something you're passionate about. This will not only build your fluency, but also give you a sense of achievement. Pronunciation can be tricky, but it's essential for being understood. Focus on speaking clearly rather than speaking fast. Remember, it's better to say words correctly at a slower pace than rush through them and be unclear. Break down words. Practice breaking down difficult words into smaller parts. For example, the word comfortable might seem hard, but if you break it down comfortably, you'll find it easier to say. Tongue twisters. Try fun tongue twisters to practice difficult sounds. For example, she sells seashells by the seashore. This practice helps your mouth get used to tricky sounds and improves your fluency. Record yourself. Record yourself reading a passage or talking about something. Then listen to the recording and compare it to native speakers. Notice where you can improve and try again. This helps you catch areas where your pronunciation may need work. Consistency is the key to mastering English. You can't expect to become fluent overnight, but if you practice a little every day, you'll see progress faster than you think. Instead of trying to learn everything at once, set small, achievable goals. For example, this week, I will learn 10 new words, or today, I will practice speaking for 15 minutes. Don't just focus on one skill. Mix up your practice by reading, listening, speaking, and writing. This keeps things fresh and helps you improve all areas of your English. Incorporate English into your daily routine. For instance, you could listen to an English podcast while making breakfast, read a short article during lunch, and practice speaking in the evening. The key is to make English a natural part of your day. Learning English is not just about practice. It's about believing in your ability to succeed. The most important part of this journey is your mindset. If you believe you can improve, you will. Example, stay positive. Whenever you make a mistake, instead of getting discouraged, see it as an opportunity to learn. Every mistake brings you closer to fluency. Visualize your success. Imagine yourself speaking English fluently. Picture yourself traveling, meeting new people, and expressing yourself confidently. This positive visualization keeps you motivated. Celebrate small wins. Don't wait until you're fluent to celebrate. Every step forward is progress, whether it's learning a new word or having your first full conversation in English. Celebrate each victory. Here's an example of what a balanced daily English practice routine could look like. Morning. Listen to a short podcast or YouTube video in English while having breakfast. Focus on understanding the main ideas. Afternoon. Write a short journal entry about your plans for the day. Try to include new words you've recently learned. Evening. Watch a movie or TV show in English with subtitles. Pause occasionally to repeat phrases and practice speaking. Night. Before going to bed, read a short story or a few pages of a book. Focus on understanding new vocabulary and context. By following a routine like this, you're practicing all the core skills every day, listening, speaking, reading, and writing, while keeping things varied and fun. Becoming fluent in English is a journey that doesn't have a strict end point. The more you practice, the better you get, and there's always something new to learn. But the most important thing is to enjoy the process. Learning English can be fun, exciting, and incredibly rewarding. Understanding grammar. Grammar might sound intimidating, but it's essential for forming correct sentences and expressing yourself clearly. However, the good news is that you don't have to memorize grammar rules. You can learn them naturally through examples and practice. Start with simple sentences. Focus on the basic structure. Subject plus verb plus object. For example, I eat apples. As you get comfortable, try more complex sentences like, she is reading a book. Notice the different forms of verbs, like is reading versus eat. Use real-life examples. Rather than learning grammar in isolation, notice how it's used in real life. When you read or listen to English, pay attention to how sentences are structured. For example, if you hear someone say, I've been working all day, you're learning about the present perfect continuous tense just by listening. Practice writing in tenses. Choose a verb and practice using it in different tenses. For instance, the verb run can be used in different ways. Present simple, I run every morning. Past simple, I ran yesterday. Future, I will run tomorrow. This helps solidify your understanding of verb tenses in a practical way. Speaking naturally involves more than just knowing words. It's about intonation, rhythm, and confidence. To sound like a natural speaker, practice these techniques. Shadowing technique. The shadowing technique involves listening to a native speaker and repeating exactly what they say immediately after. This helps you practice the natural rhythm and intonation of English. For example, if you watch a short video clip, pause after each sentence and repeat it aloud, imitating the speaker's tone. Tongue twisters are a fun way to improve your pronunciation. For example, try saying, Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers. This helps you become more comfortable with tricky sounds and improves your fluency. In natural conversation, native speakers use fillers like well, or phrases like, to sound more fluid. You can practice adding these to your own speech. For instance, if someone asks you a question, you can say, well, I think, instead of jumping straight into the answer. Listening is key to understanding and learning how native speakers communicate. But instead of just passively listening, be an active listener and make your listening sessions purposeful. Interviews are great for listening practice because they show natural conversation flow. For instance, Watch an interview with a celebrity and focus on how the host asks questions and how the guest responds. Try to mimic the phrases they use, such as, "That's a great question," or, "Well, to be honest." Audiobooks are fantastic because they allow you to listen to well-structured sentences. Start with books you're already familiar with in your native language, so you can focus on the language, not the story. While listening, try to repeat sentences out loud or note new words you hear. Many apps and websites allow you to slow down the speed of audio. If you're watching a YouTube video or using an app like Audible, slow the playback speed to 0.75x. This allows you to catch every word and understand the pronunciation more clearly. Reading in English is one of the most effective ways to learn new vocabulary, understand sentence structure, and see grammar in action. News articles are written in formal, clear English and provide excellent reading material. For example, pick an article from an English news site and highlight new words. Use the context of the article to guess the meaning before looking up the definition. While reading, write down new words along with their meanings and example sentences. For instance, if you come across the word exhilarated, write it down like this. Word, exhilarated, meaning feeling extremely happy and excited. Example, she felt exhilarated after finishing the marathon. Keeping this journal helps reinforce your learning. Reading aloud helps improve both your pronunciation and understanding. For example, pick a page from your favorite book and read it out loud. This also helps you get used to hearing yourself speak in English, which builds your confidence. Writing helps consolidate everything you've learned. But instead of writing simple sentences, challenge yourself to express more complex ideas. Write about your day in as much detail as possible. For example, instead of writing, "I went to work," try expanding it. "I woke up early and had a cup of coffee before heading to work. The traffic was heavy, so I listened to my favorite podcast on the way." This helps you practice using descriptive language and linking ideas. Choose a topic and write a short essay. For example, write about the importance of learning English and include your reasons. This allows you to practice expressing opinions, using persuasive language, and structuring your thoughts logically. Find someone, whether a teacher or a language partner, to read your writing and give feedback. They can point out mistakes you might not have noticed and suggest ways to improve. This is crucial for advancing your skills. You can learn all the theory, but unless you use English in real-life situations, it's difficult to progress. Real-world practice solidifies everything you've learned. There are many online communities where people practice English together. For example, you can join English forums, participate in discussions, and even comment on YouTube videos in English. Engaging with others gives you a sense of how people communicate informally. Try to use English in your everyday life. For example, when cooking, say the recipe steps aloud in English. "First, I need to chop the onions. Then, I'll fry them in the pan." This may sound simple, but it builds your fluency because you're using English in real-life situations. If possible, travel to an English-speaking country or make friends with native speakers. Having real conversations with native speakers improves your listening, speaking, and comprehension skills tremendously. It pushes you to think on your feet and respond quickly in English. Your vocabulary is the toolbox you need to express yourself effectively in English. The more words you know, the easier it is to speak, write, and understand. Instead of learning random words, group words by categories. For example, learn all the words related to food, such as bake, fry, steam, boil, ingredients, recipe. This makes learning more organized and helps you remember words faster. Flashcards are a great tool for memorizing new words. Write the English word on one side and the definition or translation on the other. For example, write astonished on one side, and on the other side, write very surprised. Quiz yourself daily to reinforce learning. Expanding your vocabulary also means learning different ways to say the same thing. For example, instead of always saying happy, learn words like joyful, delighted, thrilled. For the opposite, learn words like sad, disappointed. This makes your language richer and more expressive. The best way to improve any language is by immersing yourself in it as much as possible. This means surrounding yourself with English in your everyday life. By changing the language settings on your phone to English, you're forcing yourself to interact with English constantly. Even simple things like receiving notifications in English will help you get used to the language. Follow English-speaking influencers, bloggers, and pages on social media platforms. This way, you'll naturally see and hear English every time you scroll through your feed. One of the biggest challenges is thinking in your native language and then translating to English. Try to switch to thinking in English, especially for simple things like, what will I eat for lunch? Or what time is it? This helps you become more fluent because you're reducing the time it takes to formulate sentences. One of the best ways to improve your English is by integrating it into your hobbies and interests. When you enjoy what you're doing, learning becomes effortless. Instead of watching dubbed versions, watch movies or shows in English with subtitles. If you love action movies, watch them in English and focus on how characters interact. For instance, while watching Harry Potter, notice how they use phrases like, "I'll meet you at the castle," or "That's brilliant." Many video games, especially multiplayer ones, have chats where you can communicate with players around the world. Play in English and chat with other players using simple phrases like "need help" or "good job." It's a fun way to practice casual, real-time conversation. If you enjoy listening to music, search for the lyrics in English. As you listen to a song, try reading along with the lyrics. For instance, if you're listening to Taylor Swift's Love Story, pay attention to how words like Romeo and balcony are pronounced. This will help you connect words with their sounds. Pronunciation is crucial for being understood. Even if you know all the grammar and vocabulary, poor pronunciation can lead to misunderstandings. Here's how to improve it. Choose a short paragraph, read it out loud, and record yourself. Then listen to your pronunciation and compare it with a native speaker. For example, pick a paragraph from a news article and say it aloud. Listening to yourself can help you identify areas for improvement. Minimal pairs are words that differ by only one sound, like ship and sheep or bat and bet. Practice pronouncing these pairs out loud to fine-tune your ear for subtle sound differences. English has specific patterns of stress and intonation. For instance, in the word photograph, the stress is on the first syllable, photograph. But in photographer, the stress moves to the second syllable. Fogra, fur. Practicing these patterns can make your speech sound more natural. Language exchange is an excellent way to practice English with real people who are also interested in learning your native language. You teach them your language, and they help you with English. You can find language exchange partners through apps or online communities. For example, you might connect with someone from the UK who wants to learn Hindi while they help you practice English. It's a win-win for both of you. Before each session, decide what you want to focus on. For instance, one day you might work on casual greetings like, "How's it going?" And another day you can focus on ordering food at a restaurant. This gives structure to your practice. In your exchange sessions, role-play common situations. For example, act out ordering coffee. "Hi, I'd like a cappuccino, please." Your partner can respond as a barista. Role-playing these scenarios will prepare you for real-life conversations. Consistency is more important than perfection. Rather than studying for hours once a week, it's better to practice English every day, even for just a few minutes. Here's how to stay consistent. Break your learning into small goals. For example, instead of saying, "I'll learn English," set specific goals like, "I'll learn 5 new vocabulary words today." Small wins add up over time and keep you motivated. Track your daily English practice with a habit tracker app or a simple notebook. Every day you study, check it off your list. For example, if you practice speaking for 15 minutes, mark it as done. This visual reminder will help you stay on track. Set rewards for hitting milestones. For example, if you complete a week of daily English practice, treat yourself to something you enjoy, like watching a movie or going out for your favorite food. Rewards make the process more enjoyable and motivate you to keep going. Many learners hesitate to speak English because they're afraid of making mistakes. However, mistakes are part of the learning process, and the more you speak, the more confident you'll become. Every mistake you make is a chance to learn something new. For example, if you say, "He go to school," and someone corrects you to "he goes to school," don't feel embarrassed. Instead, celebrate the fact that you learned the correct form. Practice speaking to yourself when no one is around. For example, talk to yourself in English as you go through your day. "I'm going to the store to buy some milk." This helps you get used to forming sentences and speaking without the fear of being judged. Begin with short, simple conversations. For example, when at a cafe, order your coffee in English. "1 cappuccino, please." Starting with small interactions builds your confidence over time, and you'll gradually be ready for longer conversations. Language and culture are deeply connected. The more you understand English-speaking cultures, the more naturally you can learn the language. Keep up with popular trends, events, or issues in English-speaking countries. For example, if there's a big sports event like the Super Bowl or the World Cup, read articles or watch videos about it in English. This gives you not only language practice, but also cultural context. Many webinars or online events are held in English. Attend ones that interest you, whether it's about science, art, or technology. Participating in these events exposes you to the language in a professional setting, expanding your vocabulary in specific fields. Learn about and even celebrate holidays from English-speaking cultures, such as Halloween, Thanksgiving, or Christmas. For example, Watch a Thanksgiving special on TV and listen to how people talk about gratitude, food, and family. This brings you closer to the cultural aspects of the language. Keeping your motivation high can be a challenge, especially when language learning becomes frustrating. Here's how to stay motivated throughout the process. Imagine where you'll be in 6 months or a year if you continue practicing. For instance, picture yourself confidently speaking English during a trip to an English-speaking country. This visualization helps keep you motivated when the journey feels slow. Many websites and social media groups host 30-day English challenges. For example, challenge yourself to learn one new phrasal verb every day for 30 days, or to write a short story in English by the end of the month. These challenges give you a fun, structured way to practice. Recognize and celebrate your small successes. For example, if you've mastered a difficult phrase or completed a conversation in English, take a moment to feel proud. Acknowledging your progress keeps you motivated to move forward.